Hey everybody, this is Jordan McConnell with a very special episode of the Crohn's Veteran Podcast. This is the last episode I am recording for this entire podcast. This is very, very near and dear to me. This episode, I'm going to talk about where I was 3 years ago in April of 2020 when I started this podcast, and where I am now, here in May 2023, and kind of what I'm excited about, for the next chapters here in my life. Uh and everything here is coming from a place of just gratitude for the journey so far. And so uh so so again, thank thank you for joining me, and let's talk about where I was 3 years ago, and kind of where this podcast came about from. My son was just saying today, Dad, why did you start Crohn's Veteran? Listen, let me just remind, the folks that are listening out there, what led to me starting this show. And so I I've been living with Crohn's disease, as everyone who's been listening to the show knows, since 1995, and I've had active symptoms since 2009. And and so and for several years I had, even though I had, I guess, the surgeries and everything, I didn't really have a very high quality of life. I was, not very happy, and didn't have very good habits. And um and so I wanted to, I just had kind of had a kind of almost hopeless outlook as far as the state of my Crohn's, because I had this surgery, and it was 18 inches of my colon, and my ileum taken out, and the ileum, that organ, it serves a very vital function in the body. And because of that, I had this permanent bile acid malabsorption, and this serious symptoms of going to the bathroom every 2 to 3 hours, 24 hours a day for, I don't know, I think that was 2009, and maybe it was maybe 6 or 7, or maybe even 8 years, of just living that kind of life, and just really just believing that it could not get any better. Anything that I ate, anything and everything, whether it was healthy stuff like water or salad, or not a big salad person, but water, or um, you know, it anything, just any croutons or whatever, like anything that is healthy, normal food, lean chicken, that kind of stuff, that was equally as bad for me as all the horrible things, heavily processed stuff. And so I had given up, on trying to eat healthy for the most part. And I was just kind of self-destructive. And then I met my current wife. And when we were hanging out, and I actually had the idea, it came to me that I should go try to get new GI doctors, and maybe see if there's if anything had changed since my previous experience with gastroenterology and Omaha didn't go so well. And so I'm like, okay, well, let me try this again. After being on Remicade for about a year and a half, there I was told, hey, all your blood work looks great, you know, and you should feel great. And that wasn't true. And so thankfully they determined that I have, again, bile acid malabsorption caused by my ileum being surgically removed. And so the medicine for that is called chlorestramine, and that acts as like an artificial binder for the food that I eat, which allows me to actually live a much higher quality of life. And so when I was uh, prescribed that medicine, within, after I started taking it, it was a complete life game changer. And just how good I felt, and being able to sleep through the entire night, and being able to go through, just do normal stuff throughout the entire day without worrying about, running to a bathroom literally, was just so relieving, and it gave me this sense of so much possibility that I just decided, well, wow, well, if I can, anything is possible. And so so that actually got me out of my shell. And so I decided to kind of literally see what's possible. Um and I wanted to find other people that had, Crohn's disease. And and I wanted and I wanted to, actually find this community now. And so I started looking on, uh I think YouTube, and I think there are a few people on there at the time that, maybe had, were doing recipes or, workout stuff, but it wasn't like, their whole channel wasn't like just centered around Crohn's disease. And excuse me. And it was the same thing when I got onto Instagram. Like, we're the, initially, because now there's tons. But initially, like, it took me, it was hard to find, people of color, men and women, that look like me, my kind of age group and stuff, that were talking about Crohn's. And so that was the reason that I created Crohn's Veteran. The Instagram channel was because well, I have Crohn's and I was a military veteran, so it just kind of made, to me, I wanted something unique because a lot of the names were already taken, like Crohn's Warrior and Crohn's Fighter and all that stuff. And so, so I wanted something unique, and so it kind of was a cool play on words that was available. And so, and I said, and I'm also an IT guy, and so, so I found out that website was available too, and so that, so it all worked out. And so, so I started, just wanting to share my life as, as a guy with Crohn's, working full time with, uh, wife and, son and all these things, showing that, hey, it's possible that there's people out there that, can, work a full-time job and still, live with Crohn's and stuff like that. And I wanted to be an example, for, other people out there that want that, that aspire to do the same thing. And so I did that for a while, but, my, I think my ultimate goal eventually was to do a podcast, but I also kind of had a little bit of a, I don't know if it was um maybe like not anxiety, but maybe like maybe hesitancy, something like that. Just maybe a little bit of that stage fright, feeling, I guess, folks can get. And and there is, and one of the people that I end up finding in the Instagram IBD community, which, was amazing, was this guy named Mason Milne. And he was at the time an 18-year-old guy in England. And he was like, talking about Crohn's and, and doing all this fun content. And I'm like, man, here I am, this old guy, a lot older than him. And he's, starting a podcast himself. And I'm like, okay, wow. Well, not only do I want to interview him, I want to, start a show myself. And so he kind of, I definitely credit Mason Milne with, inspiring me to record my first episode. And so, and so one of the things I wanted to talk about, at the beginning of the podcast, and also to hold myself accountable, was the fact that I had recently quit smoking, or quit smoking cigarettes or vaping, nicotine, or I should say just having a nicotine addiction in general. And so, and it was a long one, like I want to say like 20 years. And so that I was, smoking cigarettes, or like cigars, or like vaping, or like e-cigarettes, all those kind of things. And so and so I, since I have a son, I didn't want him to grow up, with a, with a dad that, had a nicotine addiction, and also, and thinking that, it was okay for him to do. And so I but just because I wanted to do that, it didn't make it easy. And so that's, and so but I was so I'm very happy to say that my first episode of the Crohn's Veteran podcast was after the, I think, episode 0. The first episode that I did was on quitting, on quitting smoking. And also the fact that, uh cigarettes and nicotine and all that is terrible for Crohn's disease. And so, I mean, so it's very possible, I was just compounding my own, my own symptoms and stuff, for a very long time. And so I, so and so I believe that, I think I had like an e-cigarette or something, and I had lost it. And then I was like, hey, should I buy another one? I'm like, wait a minute. I'm trying to quit smoking here. So I'm gonna I'm gonna, not buy another one, and also I don't want to be, smoking or smoking cigarettes or doing anything like that as a as a because I'm, upset, or mad at the world, and I'm kind of using this as like a coping mechanism for, like, and not getting at the root, of the issue. And so I'm very happy that, that I quit smoking, and this is 3 years later, and I've still done it. I haven't gone back. No relapse, not one day. So, so I can, look my son in the eye and say that, when he's, older and everything, that I've quit, and I've quit for good. And so I'm very happy to say that. And so anybody out there, that's listening to this, that also has a nicotine addiction, know that you can quit. And if you need help doing so, reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help you. But anyway, so uh after that, I was very fortunate to meet a couple of amazing people. CJ Cabrera and Renika Wood. They recorded episodes with me on the podcast for, I believe, about a year. And so I just want to give them a very, very special shout out. This show would not have been possible, like, without them. They were instrumental in, just the overall success of the entire show. Like CJ helped me with the Crohn's veteran store. Renika just was just a great friend, and she provided this great content on, from a woman's perspective, from a Black woman's perspective. Just, that this is just invaluable to the IBD community, in my opinion. And so again, I want to say thank you to both of them for their contributions on the show. And so I also wanted to say, thank you to everyone that I interviewed on the show too. And so if you bear with me here, for those folks that are listening, I just want to go through real quick here by name the people that I interviewed and say thank you to them. So the first is Kevin Humphrey. He's somebody that found me on Instagram, and he also helped me with the Pros Veteran show too. So I want to say thank you to him. Uh, I want to say thank you to Joel Nixon, personal trainer and ostomy advocate. I want to say thank you to Serena Izazari, a functional nutritionist, wellness coach that I interviewed. Again, Mason Milne, Adam Peterson, a guy that I knew in Omaha, came on and shared his story. Mark Lucicero who's a Crohn's disease advocate, shared his IBD journey with me. There's an ostomy fitness model that I interviewed named KG Legacy. I wanted to thank them for being on the show. There's a lights, camera, and Crohn's blogger and an IBD advocate, Natalie Hayden. Thank you to her. I remember that interview very well. Fashion entrepreneur and IBD warrior Marquise Rashoid. I want to shout him out. But on Instagram, he had a tie and bow tie store that I just thought was so awesome, that I actually bought a tie and a pocket square from his store, and I actually met one of the other guests that I interviewed. This big this kind of celebrity CEO, and I actually wore his tie to go meet him. And so because I just wanted to support. I'm a big supporter of small business in general, and and Black small business in particular. And so it just felt really, really good to support him and support the IBD community. And so thanks Marquise. And so I next is again, yeah, the person that I wore his tie to, David Meltzer, the CEO of Sports One Marketing. David, I consider David a professional business mentor of mine. I've had the opportunity to meet him a couple of times in person. I was offered a internship, around COVID, so I wasn't able to actually take it, by him. So again, he has taught me a tremendous amount about just life in general, and so I highly recommend that to read his materials, follow him, connect with him, all of that. He's a smart, he's a very uh smart and talented guy in my opinion. And so next is Kayla. Kayla was one of the ladies that we interviewed, and was a friend of the Crohn's Veteran Show for a very long time. So thank you to her. There's a lady named Leanna we interviewed. Angela Jackson from the Jackson Impact, another Crohn's platform on Instagram, and I still have a T-shirt of hers, from her store. Um, uh, a lady named Nikki Renee, who at one time was a ambassador for the Color of Crohn's and Chronic Illness. Um, and so I don't know if that's still true. I haven't checked recently, but I hope she's doing well. She was a very, very fun person to talk to. And there's a guy named Leo that I interviewed in Norway, which is really fun. And I was able to actually get him a Crohn's veteran hoodie to his village. That was about 30 minutes outside of Oslo, I believe, which is really awesome. So I'm really proud of that. And there's a lady named Victoria Brown that was able to talk about Crohn's disease from having it just she was a lady that had Crohn's disease for several years, and so getting her perspective was extremely valuable from just a demographic, and just her own journey. And there's a guy here in Vegas that named Steve Braverman that actually reached out to me, and we I was a we had a very good connection, and and I'm happy that I got to meet him, and he gave me some very, very good life advice. In addition, to being a very brave soul, and it's in his name. To come on the show and share his journey. So again, I wanted to say thank you to him. Ben, there's a guy named Ben Travers, who's in my description here, I remember him too. He was kind of like a traveling kind of like he traveled with rock bands and stuff. And so I think, as a sound engineer. And so his name is Ben Travers. So thank you to him. Colon cancer advocate and ostomy warrior, Dan Shockley. I want to shout out him and say thank you. And then there's a Crohn's a YouTuber named Ellie Cadelli. She came on, and then we interviewed her. So thank you to her. Another very good friend of the Crohn's veteran, Hennessy Brown, from Instagram. Thank you to her for her interview too, and also her support. Uh, Actually, I had the opportunity to interview the Miss Oklahoma International winner of 2020, who also has Crohn's disease. Her name is Ashley Gibson. Thank you to her. It's really appreciated that she shared her story on the show. This guy named Theodore Sean Merriweather Jr., the owner of Crohn's No More and Crohn's Fit. He came on. I actually did a couple of episodes with him that were awesome. I mean, just very, very fun to talk to him. Very memorable. And excuse me, Molly Dunham Friel, a colitis warrior and community advocate. Thank you to her for sharing her story. And this lady that I spoke to from the island of Saint Lucia, Laura Ellen. Thank you for her. And let's see, my mom. Of course, I want to shout her out very much, just in general for everything. But she also came on the show, and to talk about what it was like to just be my mom of a son with Crohn's disease. And one of the stories that I tell people a lot is thank you to Rico Franco, the bare knuckle boxer out in England, who shared his story. Very, very awesome interview too. The Crohn's holistic health coach, Dr. Selvi Bazudovan. Thank you to her. Lovely interview. Love just awesome person. And so thank you to her. Thank you to Braden from Australia that I interviewed. Thank you to Anthony, um, Anthony Giovanni, uh, a Crohn's fitness coach, really, really awesome guy. Look him up. Um, Aisha Reese, I interviewed her. She was a singer, a Michigan native, along with my family, and she and her story was was one to listen to, and so much respect and admiration for what she's been through. Uh, I also interviewed the Taj CBD, um, Taj and Autumn, and we had a really really fun conversation too. So they thank you to them. I hope they're doing well out there. Um, Tasha Stewart, Crohn's mom and Ostomy warrior. Thank you to her for sharing her story. Uh, and and keep going here. Executive assistant, Crohn's warrior Nicole Jones. Um, and actually, yeah, that was the first interview that I did that with two people at the same time, and so that was so again, uh, thank you to both of them for coming on and sharing their family journey, being impacted by Crohn's disease. Uh, and then also, I actual book author, so much more than my ostomy. Ellen Mantell, thank you for them coming on and sharing their book and sharing their journey. Christina Thomas, um, a Veteran Voices director and a medical cannabis advocate, uh, which and an entrepreneur and all kinds of other very fun things. Thank you to her for coming on the Crohn's Veteran Show too. Um, I interviewed Braylon Brooks, Michigan native and ileostomy warrior. I interviewed Tiame Jordan, certified functional medicine practitioner and author. Thank you to you both. Um, Chef with IBD, Abigail Marie. Thank you for for coming on the show. Danish Hazarika, a really awesome individual. We men's health advocate and colitis warrior. We definitely connected. Really 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 cool individual. Uh, my own brother, twin brother Morgan McConnell came on the show. We talked about what it was like having a brother with Crohn's. So thanks Morgan for coming on the show. Uh, Autoimmune health coach Holly Fowler. Thank you. I appreciate it. Um, and then also Stephen Lindquist and Anthony Orton, both previous co-workers of mine, and both were kind enough to come on the show. And so thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Stephen. And Stephen, your episode is one of the highest ranking episodes on the podcast period. So again, thank you for sharing your journey. You definitely did inspire people, and that's true for everyone else in this on that we've interviewed too. Everyone that came on the show, all your stories mattered and all your stories made an impact. And so and so and with that, the almost done here. Darren Steink, Crohn's warrior and Alberta, Canada native, really awesome individual too. Much respect. Thank you for sharing your story, and we're almost getting to the end here. Um, the highest ranking episode on the Crohn's Veteran podcast, which is IBD registered dietitian and nutritionist Danielle Gaffin. I'm looking forward to working with her someday. For my own nutrition needs. Living with bile acid malabsorption and Crohn's disease, and so she's a very very talented individual. She, and listening to her podcast is something that I highly recommend. And so David Friedman, my man, we definitely connected too. Really, really cool guy, motivational, inspirational. Um, his laws of success, by his book, Laws of Success. And support everything he's doing. You can find him on Instagram. Really, really cool guy. And I'm grateful, and I'm very, very grateful that we got to connect. Same, same here with Michael Courier from Oshi Health. He's a Crohn's warrior, and I'm greatly appreciative for him coming on the show. It means a lot. I was also able to do kind of a business kind of interview with the company Clear Passage, and they treated Crohn's complications without surgery using a kind of a physical therapy to heal adhesions and things. I may be butchering that a little bit, but definitely check out Clear Passage and because they actually have treatments that for the right circumstances can really help people impacted by Crohn's disease, and a wide variety of other conditions too. um, Albert Fliss, I should say Dr. Fliss. Uh, he's a senior director of oncology. He's also a Crohn survivor. You know, his we had an hour-long conversation, and that was earlier this year, and that was you know his story was just edge of your seat, just fascinating. What this man went through what he's recovered from is truly remarkable. And so please listen to his episode. And thank you, Albert, again for sharing your story. Uh, and getting a lot more recently here, Ariel Jordan, who's in her second year of residency to be a gastroenterologist herself, and she's also ulcerative colitis warrior. And so thank you very, very, very much for sharing your story and sharing your perspective. It means the world to me, and it means, and I know that sharing your story again, has made an impact. And I'm looking, as I'm looking at all these episodes as I'm reading them out. Your episode too, Ariel, has been uh, been listened to a lot. You had made a big impact, and my very good friend Patera Harper, thank you for sharing your story with me after we met at the health conference last year, and and just we've been talking ever since, since last October. And so 7 months later, you shared your story on the Crohn's Veteran podcast as the last interview that I'm doing for this show. And so so I can't tell you how much I appreciate, that it was you that was the last, interview that I did. So you are appreciated. And so with that, um, so now that I've thanked everybody, uh, and so so what next? I'm definitely not giving up on Crohn's advocacy, Crohn's awareness. I've this entire journey of mine has been a mental health journey. It's been a healing journey. It's been a stepping out into your outside of your comfort zone journey. And I just think the last 3 years of the kind of all the things that I was doing in my life, and the things that I'm doing now. Now I'm going to farmers markets, and I'm buying fresh food to make for Crohn's colitis fundraisers. And my I'm I said still nicotine free. I'm actually, with the really really fun news is that I recently got a blood test from from the doctor here in Las Vegas, and there was absolutely no inflammation in my bloodstream. And so that means I guess you can call that remission, or at least for a guy that has no ileum and takes chlorostamine powder twice a day, that's about the closest thing to it. And so the reality is that I have absolutely no health issues. And so I'm not sick. Now, I feel sick all the time because of my stomach, and because of this because this ileum thing, and the how the foods interact with the powder, and how all these other kind of things. But the reality is those stomach aches have at this current time no impact, have no correlation, I should say, to my health, because my health is actually really really good. And so And so, I am healthy, and I'm healthier, I'm happier, and I'm appreciative of, my wife and son, who have been my biggest supporters, on this show. For this whole time, my son has told his, school teachers and stuff about, about what his dad is doing for Crohn's disease awareness. And so it just means the world to me. And so the next steps for me, you know, I'm I'm just excited about the future. To me, it's really good to, have a project and to start it and to work on it and to, finish it and to, you know, go on to, other fun things, to have, to kind of, allow, the ability to receive, more fun things by, moving things that, have the kind of a purpose in a season to pass. And so I believe that, interviewing all these great people and and being, and allow, and the growth that I've gotten, and hopefully um, value and, um, the value that people have gotten out of there listening to this show. I'm just ready to, do other fun things. And so, yeah, so this is, definitely not, you know, good night. It's, kind of good, or not goodbye. It's good night. And so, I'm not going anywhere. There's more fun things to come. And, and thank you, everybody out there for supporting me. This show has always been a labor of love. I mean, I work full time. I said, I'm an IT professional for the last 20 years, a military veteran, all these things. And so this has always been in, my free time. I've been publishing these episodes myself, and I've been, maintaining the website myself, and, just doing all the social media stuff, everything myself. Um, and so I think it's time to take a break, and also the expense of, all keeping all this stuff up. And so, so speaking of that, I'm going to, the Crohn's Veterans Store. I'm going to, keep open, since when this episode is going to be published, it's going to be World IBD Day. And so I'm going to, uh do some kind of promotion for World IBD Day, but and then keep the store open for the rest of the May of 2023, and then, June 2023, the, store is going to be closed out. And so, and so and also, but I will be keeping the website up for the time being. I don't see any reason to get rid of that anytime soon. And then also, of course, the podcast itself is not going anywhere. I hope that, it gets shared and it makes an impact for a long time to come. And so, but so with that, um, I'm grateful. Actually, who else do I want to, thank here? Um, well, yeah, I want to thank, actually, yeah, just, all the people in my life that have, supported me, throughout the last, few years, that have made my life easier. And I want to, thank all the, people that, taught me, valuable lessons, and look at that helped me look into myself to be a better person. And so, in life, there's wins and there's lessons. And so I'm grateful that I've gotten both. Like, I just, you know, saw this like video about Matthew McConaughey talking about his red lights and green lights and all these kind of things and stuff like that. And, it's kind of, I don't know. It does make sense to me that, if you're going, if you're driving down a street, and you have, you know, just, all green lights, and you have no red lights and you have no caution lights and those kind of things, what is your life really like? And so, and those red lights and those caution lights and all, and then that whole path down, down the street, and all the, things that can happen, are necessary to, build to build a person. And so I'm grateful for all the grit that it took to get to where I got today. My, it kind of, my wife hasn't, felt well for, for months. And, we, getting here to Nevada, from Nebraska, for people who have been following the show. We kind of, I would say, almost crash landed here, into Nevada. And so, I mean, I was, I was, working very, very hard to take care of my family before I got here. And I came here and I got a new job, and, uh, so new job and new city, and still doing the podcast, and, working on like other side projects. And, so it was just too much. And, I burned myself out. And, so it was, and so this whole thing has just been it's been a journey. And so, I've been, really working on filling my own cup, especially since I've been in Nevada, and been in Las Vegas, is filling my own cup. Because, how can I, be of service to my community if my own cup is not full? That's what I'm, trying to do a little, to try to do better every single day. And say, what else do I got here? And, if I have, any, wisdom, coming out of this situation and coming out of this experience, doing this show, is, uh, I'm just grateful for all the people that I've met. And, and I've, I learned, so much about the human condition, and about, grit, and about, believing in yourself, and faith, and, and just, having, having a strong connection, that, things can and will get better. And, and just meeting so many inspiring people that just, just reiterated that to me. And so I am a better person from all the people that, that I've met through this show. And so thank you to everyone, to, for sharing your journeys, with me, sharing your journeys with my former co-hosts, and, and sharing your journeys with, sharing your journeys with the world. This show has been, streamed a little over 6,000 times. Um, it's been heard in over 40 countries. I think 44 countries total, last time I checked. This is episode 75 that I'm going to publish. And I think I've recorded 80 episodes total. And so, it's been a really, really, awesome ride, and I'm grateful for it. And, if, if anyone wants to reach out to me, they can at Jordan at crohnsveteran.com at any time. Of course, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn too, connect with me. I'm here, I'm available. And yeah, so just because I'm not doing this show anymore does not mean that I'm, not a Crohn's advocate. I'm not raising awareness, that I'm not here to help. I am here to be of service, to the Crohn's community. And so please, and the veteran community. And so please reach out to me. I'm happy to help. And I'm gonna wrap it up here, guys. And thank you so much for your love and support. It means the world to me. And and please, support me on these future adventures. And I'll see you on the other side.